All hell is breaking loose as the Trump-CIA meeting in Moscow that took place yesterday backfired. Zelenskyy was ready to go. Ukraine's president launched his biggest sabotage mission yet against Russia, striking hard at the Amur gas chemical complex 6,000 kilometers from Ukraine. This joint venture between Russia and China that cost at least $11 billion. It took 7 years to build it to its current state, this factory, and Zelenskyy apparently launched this sabotage mission. I will show you this in a moment. This, as we are learning that it seems the reason why the Trump regime sent its CIA to Moscow was to beg Putin for help to enforce the threats by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent of economic D-Day against Iran. Russia obviously is allied with Iran. China is allied with Iran. Earlier yesterday, Wang Yi of China, China's foreign minister, told the Trump regime, China will not support your economic D-Day against Iran at all. China has Iran's back, and China will do anything necessary to defend Iran and defend itself against Donald Trump's economic D-Day with Bessent. So apparently the Trump regime went and sent John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, aboard this U.S. Air Force C-17. You may be saying, why the C-17 military plane versus a Gulfstream 4 or some other plane? Well, the Trump regime was terrified that this plane would be shot down. That's a common theme with the Trump regime, right? He hides in catering containers. And apparently you had Ratcliffe, the CIA director, was in Moscow for less than 2 hours. Putin basically laughed him out and said, why would we work with you? Why would we help you at all? We're allied with Iran. No, you've never been weaker. You're out of weapons. We're not going to join economic D-Day against Iran. Get the hell out of here. That's what we are hearing right now. But Zelenskyy was prepared. He had his own plan, but I don't want to make this sound like this is just Zelenskyy striking hard. Zelensky's doing what he's got to do, but I want to remind everybody as well, this is shaping up to be a very difficult winter for Zelenskyy and Ukraine as the U.S. has deprived Ukraine of the Patriot interceptors or interceptor licenses it needs so badly. So Zelenskyy is doing whatever he can in this race of time, trying to strike as many facilities in Russia as possible. The Wildberry facilities, logistical centers, the Ozon logistical centers that we've been talking about. Russia is now demanding, they've decreed, they've put a law that if you run a logistical center, you need to have anti-drone technology installed on the roof because Ukraine's been so successful in striking these logistical centers. But I want you to take a look right here at this massive explosion and fire that hit Russia's Amur gas chemical complex during the commissioning work ahead of its planned launch. 1 worker died, 19 people were hospitalized, at least 104 others received medical treatment. The blast occurred around an auxiliary section of the pyrolysis unit. The exact cause is under investigation, but it obviously seems to be a sabotage operation. What you need to know about this complex as well, $10 to $11 billion to build this Amur gas complex. It's a joint venture between Russia's Sibur and China's Sinopec. 60% Russia, 40% China, designed to produce about 2.7 million tons of polyethylene and polypropylene annually. It was set to become Russia's largest base polymer plant and one of the world's largest petrochemical complexes of its kind. As I note, 6,000 kilometers deep in Russia, and there appeared to be that sabotage operation. We have other footage of it right here. I'll show you what it looked like as people were near that facility. Let's play it. And we have more footage over here showing the aftermath of the massive explosion right there at that petrochemical facility. Let's play this clip as well. Now, as I noted, Zelenskyy is in this race for time before the winter to try to cause as much disruption, as much pain within Russia as possible after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, to try to get the population of Russia against this catastrophic war. Donald Trump tapped Zelenskyy along all throughout the month of July, promising Zelenskyy Patriots, promising Zelenskyy Patriot Interceptor licenses if he wasn't going to provide the Patriots. And not only did Donald Trump not provide the license, Trump even refused to show up at Ukraine's Independence Day yesterday, where most of Ukraine's allies showed up or sent a designee. There was also in the United Nations, the Security Council, allies of Ukraine made a joint statement together, dozens of countries calling for an end to this catastrophic war in Ukraine by Russia. The U.S. refused to take part in it as well. I find it fascinating and interesting that there were people like, yeah, John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, he was going to show up to Moscow and be like, hey, Putin, cut it out, man. Don't you realize that this Trump regime is a Putin bootlicking regime? Don't you see all of the data points? What would make you believe that they were going there to deliver a tough message? Donald Trump spoke with Putin on July 4th on America's 250th birthday, 90 minutes on the phone together. What do you think they were talking about for 90 minutes? Donald Trump met Putin in freaking Alaska. What do you think was going down there? Come on, people, let's use our common sense. So, as I note, Zelenskyy in this race for time, let me show you the moment and FP, these Fire.1 strike drones that are being used by Ukraine with great success. Here it is hitting the Ozone logistics hub in Tayyub, Dagestan. Play this clip. Another strike right here in the morning, a drone attack on the Ozone logistic hub in the Tayyub Industrial Park, Dagestan. Play this clip. And you can see Russian soldiers over here firing chaotically at an incoming drone with assault rifles from the middle of a crowd during the attack on the Ozone logistics facility. Play this clip. So you have that, another Wildberries facility hit by Ukraine. Again, a reminder, the Wildberries logistic facility, the Ozone logistics hub. These are logistics hubs that Ukraine says are being used by Russia in the war against it. Wildberries is like the Amazon of Russia. You see these photos. I mean, it literally looks right out of hell, right? I mean, what these photos look like. I'll show you over here in the Wildberries in Kotovsk. Here, play this clip. Also, the satellite images of the Perm refinery as a result of the attacks. More than 80% of the primary oil refining capacity was disabled in Dnipro. You can see right here the primary processing capacity being disabled in these various facilities over here. You can see for yourself. You can see some of these ships being hit by Ukraine right here. This is the crew of the Breadfan bulk carrier filming a Ukrainian drone attack on the vessel near Novorossiysk. Show you a Ukrainian FPV ambush on a Russian soldier carrying FPV drones right here. And then I thought a very powerful thing that took place on Ukrainian Independence Day. They did a drone parade. Zelenskyy says over the years of war, Ukraine built almost entirely a new defense industry, modern technology. Here is the drone parade that they did. Powerful stuff. Play this clip.
Суходолом, водою, небом. Там, де ворог шукає нашу слабкість, ми створюємо свою перевагу.
And here's another part of the drone parade. You can see some of the drones in the sky. Here, play this clip.
Незалежність – це не лише те, що ми успадкували. Це те, що ми щодня захищаємо, створюємо і виборюємо. І поки Україна рухається вперед, вона нездоланна. Це наша міць.
That's what Zelenskyy said. Ukraine is doing everything to move the war into the sky. There you no longer have to compete in the number of soldiers. You can rely on technology, drones, and missiles. But as I note at the outset, Ukraine is facing a lot of difficulty as well. Zelenskyy made a big blunder, I think, when he fired the defense secretary, Fedorov, who's also a very ambitious guy. Fedorov is very close with Elon Musk and some of the tech bros here in the United States, but very close to Elon Musk. And Fedorov has, no doubt, presidential ambitions in Ukraine. He's popular amongst young Ukrainians as well. And he is growing into a contender to challenge Zelenskyy. And the question that I have, and it's just a question, I don't have the answer, but I want to flag the issue, is how close is Musk in this decision-making, and Musk and Trump's decision not to allow Zelenskyy to use Starlink to strike the ballistic launchers in Russia. Are there links here? I don't know the answer. I will tell you when I don't know the answer. I won't pretend I do, but I will flag that issue of the Musk-Fedorov connection. Former Ukrainian Defense Minister Fedorov says Ukraine is gradually, slowly losing the war against Russia and has only months to make major strategic changes. He blames weak governance, corruption, and a failure to deploy military technology effectively, saying Ukraine still has every chance to win, but lacks an overall plan. Technologies exist already, which could completely stop the Russians, he said, arguing Kyiv is failing to apply them at scale. Fedorov was one of the main architects of Ukraine's drone-first approach, but the old guard in Ukraine, commander-in-chief, who's now been fired as well, pushed to get rid of Fedorov. And so Fedorov was fired. Zelenskyy made a big mistake, lots of protests. Zelenskyy then fired the old commander-in-chief, and now you have this situation. Ukraine's former Ukrainian Defense Minister Fedorov said, I would definitely start by thanking Elon Musk for what he already helped our country with, by switching off Russia's Starlinks when he allowed to switch on Starlinks over the temporarily occupied territories. Lots of companies from Elon Musk's orbit help us. Eric Schmidt, Microsoft, Google, and they will be investing in our victory. And we need to stay in touch with them regardless of my position. And I need to stay in touch with them for my country, is his statement. Now, I do want to share this with you. This was part of the speech that UK's Prime Minister Andy Burnham gave on Ukraine's Independence Day in Kyiv. I thought it was powerful. Play this clip.
And despite Russia's outrageous threats to my country, we will continue our support for Ukraine's defense. I know you need more help to protect your skies and your civilians. I know how hard the winters have been and the need to be ready this year when the nights draw in. That's why later today, I will take up the reins of the coalition of the willing alongside President Macron and Chancellor Merz. I am determined that we will work together to deliver the support you need, Mr. President, stronger than ever. That means not just air defense, but stopping Russia launching their missiles in the first place, with sanctions that cut off their military supply chains, with support to destroy missiles before they are launched against Ukrainian cities, and with help for Ukraine to develop new technologies and deepen our industrial cooperation. This is the moment to keep up the pressure on Russia. The moment to squeeze their ability to fund this illegal war. This is how we will speed up their realization of something we all know already, that Russia cannot win this war. That the cry for sovereignty and independence 35 years ago is stronger today than ever, and it will never be silenced. You are asking for nothing more than the chance to live your lives in peace, to build a better future for yourselves and for your children, to hold your own future in your own hands. This is your right. This is what you deserve, and we will be with you all the way until that day comes. Thank you. Slava Ukraini!
Now contrast that to what former Vice President Mike Pence said yesterday, essentially begging South Korea to give its interceptors to Zelenskyy, recognizing how dire it is that Zelenskyy doesn't have interceptors. The problem is Donald Trump has praised Kim Jong-un of North Korea. Trump has removed the last U.S. supercarrier, George Washington, from the Pacific, and Trump continues to kiss the boots of Kim Jong-un, leaving South Korea very exposed right now. And so South Korea, their President Lee recently met with Wang Yi, China's foreign minister, and so U.S. has lost its security umbrella in Asia and lost its deterrence. So the hard part is if you're South Korea, are you going to give up your weapons when you feel vulnerable and Kim Jong-un is doing ballistic missile tests while Donald Trump's posting weird memes like he's dating him? Play this clip.
Right now, President Lee in South Korea could transfer the interceptors that they manufacture directly into the region, whether it's the Middle East, send them to Europe, or send them directly to Ukraine. And I'm really calling on President Lee in the Republic of Korea to do just that. Remember, North Korean soldiers and North Korean arms are shipping westward into this fight. They are going in to fight on European soil to try and redraw international lines by force in conjunction with the Russian war machine. I think this is a real moment where South Korea can step up, send those interceptors that they manufacture. They may not be as good as Patriot missiles, but I'm told on good authority they're close.
And then I finally want to share this with you as well, because this really touched my heart, and to think about where we are right now in 2026 versus where we are in 2021. This was Ukraine Independence Day 2021. And you can see Zelenskyy literally looks like a different person. Like, you can see how this war has aged him, because, again, this was only 5 years ago, this video I'm about to show you or so. Let's play it. Well, there you have it, everybody. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. We're grateful for you. We appreciate you as always. Have a good one.
Breaking news right now. My brothers and I wrote a book. It's called WTF America. And well, doesn't that just say it all? It comes out officially this October, but you can pre-order your copy today. Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description below.